12 surprising signs of low intelligence. Have you ever wondered what really defines intelligence? It's not just about book smarts. Sometimes, the signs of lower intelligence are hidden in plain sight, even in our everyday behaviors. Want to know if you or someone you know is unintentionally falling into these patterns? Let's uncover the truth that science reveals about intelligence. It might be more eye-opening than you think. In this audiobook, we explore 12 scientifically backed signs of lower intelligence that might surprise you. Intelligence isn't just about IQ scores. It reflects how we approach life, think critically, and interact with the world. Understanding these subtle cues can help you grow smarter and more self-aware. Stick with us to learn how these traits manifest in everyday life and how to avoid falling into these common traps. Focus points. Explore 12 common signs of lower intelligence according to psychological research. Discover how overconfidence, poor problem-solving, and a lack of curiosity hold people back. Understand the impact of closed-mindedness, emotional intelligence, and unhealthy habits on cognitive ability. Learn how these behaviors can be addressed for personal and intellectual growth. What you will learn: how to recognize behaviors linked to lower intelligence, the role of emotional intelligence and open-mindedness in cognitive growth, why problem-solving skills and curiosity are crucial markers of intelligence, how unhealthy habits and impulsiveness relate to decision-making and intelligence, practical tips to avoid these pitfalls and improve your intellectual development. While intelligence is complex and multifaceted, certain behaviors or characteristics may correlate with lower cognitive functioning or a lack of critical thinking. It's important to remember that everyone displays some of these traits at times, and they don't definitively label someone as unintelligent. However, scientific studies and psychological theories have identified some potential indicators of lower cognitive ability or poor reasoning skills. Here are 12 signs that might indicate lower intelligence or less sophisticated thinking, according to science. 1. Lack of curiosity. Intelligent individuals tend to ask questions and show curiosity about the world. A lack of curiosity often indicates a rigid or shallow understanding of various topics, hindering intellectual growth. 2. Refusal to accept new information. People with lower cognitive flexibility often resist changing their beliefs, even when presented with facts. Cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias are commonly associated with lower intelligence. 3. Low cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility refers to the ability to shift thinking and adapt to new situations. Lower flexibility often results in an inability to think creatively or solve problems in novel ways. 4. Overconfidence in knowledge. The Dunning-Kruger effect refers to people who are incompetent in a domain, overestimating their own abilities. They often lack self-awareness and believe they know more than they actually do. 5. Frequent use of absolutes. Highly intelligent people tend to think in shades of gray, understanding the nuances of complex situations. Less intelligent individuals may use black and white thinking, making broad generalizations like always or never. 6. Engaging in prejudice or bigotry. Studies have shown that lower intelligence correlates with higher levels of prejudice and ethnocentrism. People who cannot engage in complex, abstract thinking may struggle to see the humanity in others who differ from them. 7. Inability to delay gratification. Lower intelligence is linked to a greater desire for immediate rewards, while smarter individuals are more likely to plan for the future and practice self-control. This has been studied in classic experiments like the Stanford Marshmallow Test. 8. Poor problem-solving skills. Those who struggle to think critically and logically tend to face difficulties when solving complex problems. They may get stuck in linear thinking patterns and fail to find innovative solutions. 9. Low emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions. People with low emotional intelligence may struggle to empathize with others or regulate their own emotions, which can limit their social success. 10. Closed-mindedness. Open-minded individuals tend to score higher on intelligence tests. Being closed-minded, on the other hand, reflects a refusal to consider different viewpoints, which is linked to lower intellectual capacity. 11. Poor language skills. Individuals with lower intelligence may struggle with language, communication, or complex sentence structures. Vocabulary size and the ability to express oneself are often linked to cognitive development. 12. Engaging in unhealthy habits. There is a correlation between lower intelligence and unhealthy lifestyle choices, such as smoking, overeating, or a sedentary lifestyle. These behaviors may stem from poor decision-making and a lack of awareness about the long-term consequences of actions. Important notes. Intelligence is not fixed and can change over time with education, experience, and personal growth. Social and environmental factors, such as poverty or lack of access to quality education, can also play a significant role in someone's cognitive development. It's important to approach this subject with nuance and empathy, as everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Focus point 1. How to recognize behaviors linked to lower intelligence. Recognizing behaviors associated with lower intelligence is not about judging or labeling individuals, but understanding the cognitive patterns that can limit intellectual growth. According to psychological research, certain traits and actions often signal a lack of cognitive flexibility, reasoning, and critical thinking. Here's a deeper dive into these behaviors and how they manifest in daily life. 1. Overconfidence in knowledge, the Dunning-Kruger effect. One of the most well-documented behaviors linked to lower intelligence is the tendency to overestimate one's own abilities, known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. In their 1999 study, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger found that individuals with lower abilities in a specific domain were more likely to believe they were competent, often misjudging their performance. This effect occurs because people with limited knowledge lack the expertise to recognize their own shortcomings. A classic example of this effect can be seen in novice chess players who believe they can easily defeat an experienced player. They often fail to see the depth of the game, mistaking their shallow understanding for mastery. This cognitive bias not only prevents individuals from recognizing their limits, but also discourages them from seeking improvement, as they believe they are already proficient. To combat this, it's essential to practice intellectual humility, the recognition that no one knows everything, and that continuous learning is key to growth. 2. Closed-mindedness and rigidity of thought. Research consistently shows that highly intelligent individuals are open-minded and willing to consider new ideas. In contrast, closed-mindedness is a trait often associated with lower intelligence. When someone refuses to entertain alternative viewpoints or new information, it indicates a lack of cognitive flexibility. This rigidity of thought can manifest in various ways, such as rejecting scientific evidence or adhering to extreme ideologies without question. Philosopher Bertrand Russell once said, "The trouble with the world is that the stupid are cocksure and the intelligent are full of doubt." This encapsulates the importance of doubt and curiosity in intellectual development. A person who is unwilling to challenge their own beliefs or consider opposing arguments is less likely to grow mentally or emotionally. Research on confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out information that supports one's existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence, shows how this behavior limits learning and critical thinking. 3. Lack of curiosity and desire for learning. Curiosity is often described as the engine of intellectual growth. Studies have shown that individuals who ask questions, explore new topics, and actively seek out knowledge tend to score higher on intelligence tests. A lack of curiosity, on the other hand, is often linked to lower cognitive ability. One key experiment illustrating the power of curiosity is the Curiosity and Intelligence study conducted by Sophie von Stum and colleagues, which found that curiosity and effort accounted for a significant portion of variance in academic performance. Those who are curious about the world around them are more likely to learn from their experiences and solve problems creatively. Curiosity also correlates with openness to experience, a personality trait that is strongly linked to intelligence. People who are open to new experiences are more likely to encounter novel ideas and information, expanding their cognitive abilities over time. 4. Inability to delay gratification, marshmallow test. A lack of impulse control and an inability to delay gratification is often a marker of lower intelligence. In the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment led by psychologist Walter Mischel in the 1960s, children were given the choice between one marshmallow immediately or 2 marshmallows if they could wait for a few minutes. Those who were able to wait and delay gratification tended to perform better in later life, achieving higher SAT scores, better social skills, and more success in their careers. This experiment highlights the importance of self-control and cognitive development. People who cannot delay gratification often make impulsive decisions, which can lead to poor outcomes in both personal and professional life. Developing the ability to think long-term, instead of being swayed by immediate desires, is a hallmark of higher intelligence. 5. Prejudice and stereotyping. Studies have found a correlation between lower intelligence and higher levels of prejudice and stereotyping. This is likely due to a lack of cognitive complexity, which makes it difficult for some individuals to understand the nuances of social interactions and the individuality of people. Gordon Allport's theory of prejudice explains that people with limited intellectual capacities often rely on simplistic, categorical thinking. Instead of viewing individuals as unique, they fall back on stereotypes as a mental shortcut. A 2012 study by psychologists Hodson and Busseri found that individuals with lower IQs in childhood were more likely to develop racist and homophobic attitudes later in life. This suggests that people with less ability to think critically and question their biases are more prone to adopting harmful societal norms. Expanding one's intellectual horizons by learning about different cultures, philosophies, and histories is one way to counteract this tendency. Recommendations: practice intellectual humility. Recognize your knowledge limits and seek feedback from others. Challenge confirmation bias. Make an effort to explore opposing viewpoints and be open to changing your beliefs. Cultivate curiosity. Regularly expose yourself to new ideas and learning opportunities to keep your mind sharp. Build self-control. Develop habits that encourage delayed gratification and long-term thinking. Break down prejudice. Learn about different cultures, question stereotypes, and engage in meaningful discussions with diverse people. Focus point 2. The role of emotional intelligence and open-mindedness in cognitive growth. Emotional intelligence, EQ, and open-mindedness are essential for cognitive growth, as they shape how we interact with others and how we process new information. Emotional intelligence allows us to understand and manage our own emotions while being sensitive to others' emotions, fostering healthy communication and decision-making. Open-mindedness, on the other hand, reflects our ability to approach new ideas, think critically, and adapt our beliefs when necessary. Together, these traits form a foundation for personal and intellectual development. 1. Emotional intelligence and its cognitive impact. Emotional intelligence, popularized by psychologist Daniel Goleman, is the ability to perceive, understand, and regulate emotions. People with high emotional intelligence tend to have better social relationships, more successful careers, and greater mental well-being. However, emotional intelligence is more than just social success. It is closely linked to cognitive growth. Emotional intelligence allows individuals to navigate complex social situations, make sound decisions under pressure, and handle conflict effectively. Goleman's research shows that those with higher EQ are better at coping with stress and managing their emotional reactions. By keeping their emotions in check, these individuals can think more clearly, process information rationally, and avoid impulsive decisions that could negatively impact their cognitive functioning. The ability to empathize is another core component of emotional intelligence that fosters cognitive growth. Empathy enables us to understand other people's perspectives, which broadens our worldview and enhances our critical thinking. It encourages intellectual flexibility by forcing us to question our assumptions and reconsider our judgments. This is crucial for personal development and avoiding narrow-minded thinking. As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Emotional intelligence helps us better understand our own emotional responses, allowing for more self-awareness and improved mental clarity. 2. Open-mindedness as a marker of intelligence. Open-mindedness is a crucial cognitive trait that indicates a person's willingness to consider new ideas and experiences. Those who are open-minded are more likely to engage in critical thinking, a skill associated with high intelligence. Instead of clinging rigidly to preconceived beliefs or ideas, open-minded individuals explore alternative perspectives, test assumptions, and adapt their thinking based on new information. In psychology, openness to experience is one of the big 5 personality traits linked to higher intellectual engagement. Open-minded people tend to have a greater tolerance for ambiguity and complexity, which allows them to entertain new ideas without feeling threatened by them. This mental flexibility is essential for creativity, problem-solving, and innovation. In contrast, closed-mindedness reflects cognitive rigidity, where individuals resist new information or perspectives, often sticking to familiar patterns of thought that limit their intellectual growth. A study conducted by Leonie Coben and colleagues at the University of Colorado Boulder found that open-minded individuals are better at adjusting their behavior in response to new evidence. This adaptability is a sign of higher cognitive functioning because it demonstrates the ability to learn from mistakes and remain open to new possibilities. Moreover, Albert Einstein once remarked, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." This sentiment underscores the importance of open-mindedness in fostering intellectual growth. By embracing change and challenging our mental boundaries, we create opportunities for deeper learning and self-improvement. 3. The link between emotional intelligence and decision-making. Emotional intelligence plays a critical role in decision-making. Research by Lowenstein and Lerner highlights that emotional regulation is key to avoiding cognitive biases, such as loss aversion or emotional reasoning. People with low emotional intelligence are more likely to make decisions based on how they feel in the moment, rather than thinking through long-term consequences. This emotional impulsivity can cloud judgment and hinder cognitive growth. Conversely, emotionally intelligent individuals have the self-awareness to recognize when their emotions may interfere with rational decision-making. For instance, someone with high EQ will notice if anger or frustration is driving their decision and will take a step back to reassess the situation more objectively. By controlling emotional impulses, they are better able to evaluate evidence, weigh pros and cons, and make sound judgments that reflect deeper cognitive thought. An experiment by George Lowenstein at Carnegie Mellon University demonstrated that participants who were emotionally aroused, whether through anger, excitement, or fear, were more likely to make riskier decisions. Those with higher emotional intelligence, however, were able to recognize their emotional state and adjust their decision-making process accordingly. This ability to manage emotional responses reflects greater cognitive control, which is essential for long-term intellectual development. 4. Open-mindedness in learning and creativity. Open-mindedness is not only beneficial for critical thinking, but also for learning and creativity. The ability to entertain unconventional or novel ideas is key to innovation. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who studied creativity extensively, found that open-minded individuals are more likely to engage in creative problem-solving because they are not constrained by rigid thinking patterns. They are willing to experiment, take risks, and approach challenges from new angles. This is why many of the greatest thinkers in history, from Leonardo da Vinci to Marie Curie, were known for their openness to new ideas. Their ability to think beyond conventional wisdom and explore uncharted territories led to groundbreaking discoveries. Open-mindedness allows for divergent thinking, where multiple possible solutions to a problem are considered, thus expanding cognitive horizons. Research shows that when students approach learning with an open mind, they are more likely to absorb new material and apply it effectively. A closed mind, by contrast, blocks intellectual curiosity and limits learning potential. 5. The relationship between emotional intelligence and social intelligence. Emotional intelligence is closely related to social intelligence, which is the ability to navigate social environments, understand interpersonal dynamics, and communicate effectively. Edward Thorndike, a pioneer in the field of social intelligence, argued that being socially adept is crucial for overall cognitive success. This is because so much of our mental energy is spent interacting with others, resolving conflicts, and building relationships. Individuals with high emotional intelligence are more adept at reading social cues, understanding emotional subtleties, and responding appropriately to the needs and feelings of others. This makes them better leaders, collaborators, and negotiators. Social interactions also stimulate cognitive development by exposing individuals to new perspectives and challenges, which further enhances intellectual growth. Recommendations: cultivate empathy. Take time to understand the emotions and perspectives of others, as this broadens your intellectual horizon. Practice emotional regulation. Learn techniques, such as mindfulness or deep breathing, to manage strong emotions and make better decisions. Stay open to new experiences. Regularly challenge yourself with new ideas, cultures, and learning opportunities to foster intellectual flexibility. Embrace change. Be willing to adapt your thinking when presented with new evidence, as this is a sign of true intellectual growth. Reflect on your decisions. Consider the emotional and rational factors influencing your choices, and strive for a balance between them. Focus point 3. Why problem-solving skills and curiosity are crucial markers of intelligence. Problem-solving and curiosity are core indicators of intelligence. The ability to solve complex problems requires not only cognitive reasoning, but also creative thinking and adaptability. Curiosity, meanwhile, serves as the foundation for lifelong learning, driving individuals to explore, question, and seek new knowledge. These two traits are interdependent, with curiosity often acting as the catalyst for improved problem-solving skills. Together, they form a framework for intellectual growth, adaptability, and success in various domains of life. 1. Problem-solving as a measure of cognitive flexibility. Problem-solving is an essential cognitive skill that tests an individual's ability to navigate challenges and develop effective solutions. Psychologist Robert Sternberg emphasized that intelligence is not merely the capacity to acquire knowledge, but the ability to apply that knowledge in practical situations. This concept forms the basis of Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence, which posits that successful intelligence comprises analytical, creative, and practical components. Problem-solving requires individuals to draw from these three domains, combining logic, creativity, and real-world experience. One of the most important elements of effective problem-solving is cognitive flexibility, the ability to switch between different strategies when facing obstacles. People with lower intelligence tend to rely on a single, often rigid, approach when solving problems, even when that approach is failing. By contrast, intelligent individuals are more likely to adapt, reevaluate the problem, and try alternative methods until they find a solution. This flexibility is a hallmark of advanced cognitive functioning. An interesting study by Joseph Glick on problem-solving abilities in different cultural contexts found that individuals who were encouraged to approach problems with an open mind performed better than those who were trained to follow strict, linear methods. This highlights that cognitive flexibility, rather than rigid adherence to formulaic thinking, leads to better problem-solving outcomes. As Albert Einstein famously said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." This speaks to the importance of changing one's mindset and approach when faced with challenges, which is a key indicator of intelligence. 2. Creative problem-solving and divergent thinking. Problem-solving, particularly creative problem-solving, requires divergent thinking, the ability to generate multiple solutions for a given problem. Divergent thinking contrasts with convergent thinking, which focuses on finding a single correct solution. Both are essential, but it is divergent thinking that drives innovation and creativity, marking a higher level of intelligence. In one study, J.P. Guilford, a psychologist who introduced the concept of divergent thinking, assessed participants' creativity by giving them simple objects and asking them to come up with as many uses as possible. The most creative and cognitively advanced individuals were those who provided the greatest variety of responses. This exercise demonstrates that intelligence is not just about finding the right answer, but about exploring different possibilities, showing intellectual curiosity and a capacity for innovation. Incorporating creative problem-solving into everyday life improves cognitive functioning. For instance, when faced with a workplace challenge, a creative thinker might approach the problem from multiple angles, using resources in unexpected ways or asking unconventional questions. This approach often yields more effective solutions than a narrow, rule-based approach. As Steve Jobs noted, creativity is just connecting things. Intelligent problem solvers have the ability to draw connections between seemingly unrelated ideas and concepts, leading to innovative solutions. This mindset is invaluable in today's rapidly changing world, where adaptability is key to success. 3. The role of curiosity in cognitive development. Curiosity is the driving force behind intellectual growth. It sparks the desire to learn, question, and explore beyond the surface of things. Curiosity not only promotes the acquisition of knowledge, but also enhances memory, comprehension, and problem-solving abilities. A curious mind is constantly seeking new information and ideas, which strengthens cognitive processes over time. The Curiosity and Exploration Inventory, created by Todd Cashin, categorizes curiosity into two types: interest curiosity and deprivation curiosity. Interest curiosity is driven by a desire for novelty and the enjoyment of discovering new information. Deprivation curiosity, on the other hand, arises from a need to fill a gap in knowledge, often pushing individuals to solve puzzles or answer questions that are unresolved. Both forms of curiosity are linked to higher cognitive functioning, as they encourage active learning and problem-solving. A study conducted by Sophie von Stum found that curious individuals tend to perform better academically, regardless of their baseline IQ levels. This suggests that curiosity is a form of intellectual motivation that drives people to seek out learning opportunities and tackle complex problems, leading to greater overall intelligence. The constant search for answers and understanding helps build the cognitive resilience necessary for sophisticated problem-solving. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the greatest minds in history, often spoke of the power of curiosity in his work. He said, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." His insatiable curiosity led him to explore diverse fields such as art, science, and engineering, and his curiosity-fueled problem-solving abilities have left an indelible mark on history. 4. Curiosity as a driver of long-term cognitive growth. Curiosity does more than just foster intellectual exploration. It promotes long-term cognitive growth by continuously stimulating the brain. Curiosity activates the brain's reward system, particularly the dopaminergic pathways, which reinforce learning and memory retention. When we encounter something that sparks our curiosity, our brain releases dopamine, making the learning process more enjoyable and motivating us to seek out more knowledge. This concept is supported by research from Matthias Gruber and his colleagues, who found that when people are curious about a subject, their brain is more engaged, and they are better able to retain new information. This process creates a positive feedback loop, where curiosity leads to better learning outcomes, which in turn stimulates more curiosity. In contrast, individuals who lack curiosity are more likely to stagnate in their intellectual growth, as they are not driven to explore new areas or solve complex problems. In educational settings, fostering curiosity is one of the most effective ways to encourage students to engage deeply with the material. Instead of simply memorizing facts, students who are curious ask questions, seek deeper understanding, and are more likely to excel in their studies. This engagement with learning translates to improved problem-solving skills, as students are more motivated to tackle challenging tasks. 5. Problem-solving in real-world contexts. Problem-solving is not limited to theoretical situations. It is an essential skill in real-world contexts as well. From managing personal finances to navigating career challenges, effective problem-solving can mean the difference between success and failure. Intelligent individuals apply their problem-solving skills by breaking down complex situations into manageable parts, analyzing available data, and making informed decisions. This process requires critical thinking, creativity, and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances. In his book Thinking, Fast and Slow, Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman distinguishes between two types of thinking: System 1, fast, automatic thinking, and System 2, slow, deliberate thinking. Intelligent problem solvers are more likely to engage System 2, using deliberate, logical thinking to address complex problems rather than relying on instinct or immediate reactions. By slowing down and considering all factors, they make more effective decisions and avoid cognitive biases. The ability to adapt and respond to real-world problems is a hallmark of intelligence. Whether facing a financial crisis, a health challenge, or a business dilemma, those with strong problem-solving skills are able to navigate uncertainty, weigh options, and find innovative solutions. Recommendations: enhance cognitive flexibility. Challenge yourself to approach problems from multiple perspectives and be willing to adapt your strategies when faced with obstacles. Foster curiosity. Cultivate a habit of asking questions, and seeking out new knowledge in unfamiliar areas. Practice creative problem solving. Engage in activities that require divergent thinking, such as brainstorming or tackling open-ended challenges. Slow down decision-making. Use deliberate, logical thinking when addressing complex problems, rather than relying on instinct or emotion. Stimulate intellectual growth through exploration. Regularly expose yourself to new ideas, experiences, and challenges to fuel curiosity and cognitive resilience. Focus point 4. The connection between impulsivity, patience, and intelligence. Impulsivity and patience are two behavioral traits that provide insight into a person's cognitive control and overall intelligence. While impulsivity can lead to rash decisions and poor long-term outcomes, patience reflects an individual's ability to delay gratification, weigh the consequences of their actions, and plan for the future. These behaviors are rooted in self-control, which is a critical component of intelligence and executive functioning. Understanding the connection between these traits and intelligence reveals how cognitive development is shaped by one's ability to manage impulses and exercise patience. 1. Impulsivity and cognitive control. Impulsivity refers to the tendency to act on immediate desires without fully considering the potential consequences. It is often associated with emotional reactivity, a lack of foresight, and an inability to delay gratification. Research has shown that impulsive individuals tend to struggle with executive functioning, which includes processes such as planning, decision-making, and self-regulation. Executive functioning is crucial for navigating complex tasks and making informed decisions, all of which are markers of higher intelligence. The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment conducted by Walter Mischel in the 1960s is a well-known study that explored the relationship between impulsivity, self-control, and long-term success. In this experiment, children were given the option of eating one marshmallow immediately or waiting 15 minutes to receive 2 marshmallows. The children who were able to wait for the second marshmallow were found to have better life outcomes, including higher academic achievement, better health, and greater emotional resilience. This study demonstrated that the ability to delay gratification, an indicator of patience and impulse control, was predictive of future cognitive and emotional success. Impulsivity, in contrast, often leads to short-term thinking and a failure to consider the broader implications of one's actions. Individuals who act impulsively are more likely to make poor decisions in moments of emotional distress or temptation. This pattern of behavior suggests a lack of cognitive control, which is an essential element of intelligence. Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist and Nobel laureate, explains that impulsive behavior is driven by System 1 thinking, the fast, automatic, and emotional response system. In contrast, intelligent decision-making often requires System 2 thinking, which is slower, more deliberate, and reflective. 2. Patience as a sign of cognitive maturity. Patience, on the other hand, is closely linked to cognitive maturity and higher intelligence. Patience involves the ability to resist immediate rewards in favor of more significant long-term benefits. This requires the capacity to plan, evaluate different outcomes, and make decisions based on long-term goals rather than short-term desires. Psychologists often refer to this ability as delayed gratification, which is not only a marker of intelligence, but also a predictor of success in various domains of life, from academic achievement to career advancement. The ability to exercise patience is deeply tied to emotional regulation and self-discipline. Individuals with high intelligence are often better at managing their emotional impulses, allowing them to make thoughtful, measured decisions even in stressful situations. Daniel Goleman, a psychologist known for his work on emotional intelligence, emphasizes the role of emotional regulation in making informed decisions. He argues that individuals who can manage their emotions, particularly in moments of frustration or stress, are more likely to achieve long-term success and develop higher cognitive skills. The concept of future orientation, the ability to think ahead and prioritize future rewards over immediate satisfaction, is a key aspect of patience. Future-oriented individuals are better at setting and achieving long-term goals because they can delay gratification in the present to reap greater rewards in the future. This future-oriented mindset reflects an advanced level of cognitive processing, as it requires individuals to anticipate and plan for the consequences of their actions. John Stuart Mill, a philosopher and economist, once remarked, "A person may cause evil to others not only by his actions but by his inaction, and in either case, he is justly accountable to them for the injury." This idea underscores the importance of considering the long-term implications of both actions and inaction, a cognitive skill that requires patience and foresight. 3. The neuroscience of impulsivity and patience. From a neurological perspective, impulsivity and patience are regulated by different areas of the brain. Impulsive behavior is often associated with an overactive amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for emotional reactions, particularly fear and pleasure. The amygdala drives immediate, instinctive responses to stimuli, which can result in impulsive actions when not properly regulated. In contrast, the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for higher-order thinking, decision-making, and self-control, plays a critical role in exercising patience. The prefrontal cortex helps individuals assess potential risks, evaluate consequences, and make thoughtful decisions. Studies have shown that individuals with a more developed prefrontal cortex are better able to delay gratification and resist impulsive behaviors, indicating a higher level of cognitive control. A 2007 study conducted by Bjorn Hoffman and his team used fMRI scans to investigate how the brain reacts during decisions involving delayed gratification. The researchers found that individuals who were able to wait for larger rewards showed greater activation in the prefrontal cortex compared to those who opted for immediate gratification. This supports the idea that patience is linked to higher cognitive functioning and the ability to regulate emotional impulses. 4. Impulsivity and poor decision-making. Impulsivity can also lead to poor decision-making and negative outcomes. When individuals act impulsively, they often fail to consider all relevant factors, leading to choices that may be detrimental in the long run. This pattern of behavior is evident in individuals who struggle with addiction, poor financial management, or unhealthy relationships. Impulsivity in these contexts reflects a lack of foresight and an inability to weigh short-term rewards against long-term consequences. In a 2011 study on impulsivity and financial decision-making, Sophie Sutter and colleagues found that individuals who were more impulsive tended to make riskier financial decisions, such as overspending or failing to save for future needs. These individuals were less likely to plan for retirement, invest wisely, or manage their finances in a way that would secure long-term stability. This underscores the importance of self-control and patience in decision-making processes that require careful planning and foresight. Intelligent individuals, on the other hand, are more likely to take a thoughtful, methodical approach to decision-making. They consider various options, anticipate potential challenges, and make informed choices that reflect a balance between short-term desires and long-term goals. This ability to think strategically is a key marker of intelligence and cognitive control. 5. Cultivating patience to enhance intelligence. Patience is not an innate trait, but a skill that can be developed over time. Cultivating patience requires individuals to practice emotional regulation, engage in reflective thinking, and build long-term goals that guide their decision-making processes. One of the most effective ways to develop patience is through mindfulness, a practice that encourages individuals to focus on the present moment while resisting the urge to act impulsively. Mindfulness meditation has been shown to improve self-control, reduce emotional reactivity, and enhance cognitive functioning. A study by Sarah Lazar at Harvard Medical School found that individuals who practiced mindfulness meditation for 8 weeks showed increased gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain associated with self-control and decision-making. This suggests that mindfulness can help individuals build the neural pathways necessary for exercising patience and making thoughtful decisions. Setting clear, long-term goals is another effective strategy for cultivating patience. When individuals have a clear vision of what they want to achieve in the future, they are more likely to resist short-term temptations and focus on actions that will lead to their desired outcomes. This process requires self-discipline and cognitive foresight, both of which are indicators of higher intelligence. Recommendations: practice delayed gratification. Regularly challenge yourself to wait for long-term rewards rather than seeking immediate satisfaction. Engage in mindfulness meditation. Develop emotional regulation and self-control by incorporating mindfulness practices into your daily routine. Set long-term goals. Create clear, achievable goals that require patience and sustained effort to develop a future-oriented mindset. Reflect before acting. When faced with decisions, pause and consider both the immediate and long-term consequences before taking action. Strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Engage in activities that stimulate higher-order thinking and self-control, such as problem-solving tasks, mental challenges, or reflective journaling. Conclusion for the audiobook on Mediadeem YouTube channel. In this audiobook, we've explored the deeper aspects of intelligence, revealing how impulsivity, patience, curiosity, problem-solving, and cognitive flexibility are intertwined to form the building blocks of intellectual growth and success. Intelligence is not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge in practical ways, demonstrating self-control, embracing creative problem-solving, and exercising patience in the face of challenges. Summary of focus points. Focus point 1. Emotional intelligence plays a critical role in determining our capacity for empathy, self-awareness, and interpersonal relationships. People with higher emotional intelligence are better equipped to manage their emotions, understand others, and communicate effectively, which ultimately strengthens their intellectual abilities. Focus point 2. Intelligence is reflected in an individual's ability to navigate complex decisions and understand the implications of their actions. By enhancing emotional regulation and cognitive flexibility, we can make more informed and thoughtful choices in all areas of life. Focus point 3. Problem-solving and curiosity are essential markers of intelligence. Problem-solving requires adaptability and creativity, while curiosity fuels the drive for lifelong learning. Together, they empower individuals to tackle challenges from multiple angles and innovate in the face of uncertainty. Focus point 4. Impulsivity and patience offer key insights into cognitive control. While impulsivity can lead to rash decisions, patience reflects long-term thinking and planning, hallmarks of intelligence. Cultivating patience strengthens self-discipline and enables more effective decision-making. Key recommendations. Develop emotional intelligence by practicing empathy and self-awareness. Cultivate curiosity by regularly seeking out new information and experiences. Approach problems with cognitive flexibility and creative thinking. Practice delaying gratification to enhance patience and decision-making. Engage in mindfulness and reflective practices to improve self-control. Reflection and final thoughts. By reflecting on these focus points, you can see how intelligence is not a static trait, but a dynamic combination of emotional control, problem-solving, creativity, and patience. Each of these traits can be nurtured through practice, and by doing so, you can unlock your full intellectual potential. Remember, the key to success lies in how we apply our intelligence in real-world contexts, from navigating daily challenges to making critical life decisions. Thank you so much for listening to this audiobook on Mediadeem. Your support is invaluable, and we encourage you to like this video and consider subscribing to our channel for more insightful content. Listening is not just entertainment. It's a crucial way to enhance your language skills. The more you listen, the better you speak. So keep listening, stay curious, and continue developing your intellectual abilities. We look forward to sharing more audiobooks with you soon.